one of your pets is that microphone?
Which one of my pets? Yeah. I guess it's Moxie. I guess she had the clothes. No. Oh, fuck. I had a
she was more brown.
Did I? If I had a... No, that's...
The chinchilla.
That's the chinchilla. That's Chili.
Ah!
I don't know what the fuck happened to him. I think we gave him to the bushes.
Did you?
I think. Yeah.
So that microphone cover actually is one of your...
No. No, it's, that mic is not... Okay, fuck this. What's going on, wonderful world of YouTube? It's Orange Beanie Guy. I'm sitting here with my buddy Connor.
What's up?
And my buddy Anthony.
How's it going?
We had a lovely talk before I actually clicked record on this. And no, it's not. It's not an animal. It's just... Well, it's actually called a dead cat. You're supposed to put them on the microphones when you go outside and record, so when like the wind is going, you don't hear that like whenever
yeah,
like,
all you
hits
hear
the
is like a screeching meow noise. But
yeah, now it's just kind of like a dead cat sound. But a topic that I wanted to talk about today was the original Game Boy. And just kind of the games that we had in our childhood. And I guess we can deviate into the advance because that was more of our, I'd say, generation than anything. Because like when we started really getting Game Boys, it was like Ruby and Sapphire were coming out for the Game Boy Advance. But do you all have any like short stories? I know we just talked about it before I clicked record. But is there anything in particular y'all would want to kick off with?
Well, yeah, just to get the ball rolling, I think I'm going to rehash, essentially, if you guys will humor me for a moment, the story that I told you guys before we hit record.
Please, go right ahead.
So for the benefit of everybody that's going to tune in at some point, I told the story of the very first present that I can consciously remember opening on Christmas morning. And this was about December 1998, so I was about 4 years old, and I remember, maybe sleeping 2 hours that night because, I thought, Santa is actually, he's coming.
Spoiler alert! He's not coming!
That's not an in general thing. That was just a my house thing, that it was a toss-up if he was actually coming, But,
well, yeah, no, Mrs. Claus never put out. We all knew that.
Well, yeah. something like that. But, yeah, so... I woke up, this was probably 5:30 in the morning, I put my pajamas on and woke my poor father up and made him get out of bed to go downstairs to the Christmas tree with me. And I remember he handed me these two little boxes. And I opened up the first one, and it is the Pikachu yellow Game Boy Color.
Such a good Game Boy.
I know.
It's actually kind of expensive now.
Explain this to me because I have actually not seen it. Does it have a Pikachu on it, or is
it doesn't have? Well, mine didn't. It had actually. Now that I'm mentioning it, it was that yellow Game Boy. I don't know if it was like
special edition.
Yeah, but it's been almost 20 years now.
Yeah, of course.
But it was that
color,
same yellow that matched the next present that I opened up, which was right when it came out, Pokemon Yellow version, the one that kind of matched the television show where you got to have all of the starters, where
the special little third game in the
and you had Jesse and James were the Team Rocket villains that you were dealing with all the time. It was the one that actually matched the TV series.
Yeah.
And so that was and yellow. When I was a kid, yellow was my favorite color, and so opening those things. And being a big fan of the show as a little kid was almost 20 years later, and that's still clear in my head.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like in some way or form, Pokemon was a part of most kids, at least the 90s kids' childhood.
Sure.
You may have not like grown up and loved it, but in some sort of way it affected you.
Well, you think about it, like, it's one of those big enough names where people are like, Pokemon, like, oh yeah, what's that? You're like, you're lying. There's no way you don't know what the hell Pokemon is.
Shut your fucking mouth. You know what Pokemon is.
It's like, hey, how about you Google that? What's a Google? Huh? You mean our overlord?
Dude, don't even get me started. I do people at work like
oh
that.
yeah.
They're just like, yeah, get on the internet, and they're like, huh? What's that? And I'm just like,
well, I have satellite TV. Does that count?
No. Oh my god. There's people that don't have emails or like know what a fax machine is, and I'm like, I don't know how I can do it. And now I'm getting off subject. Connor, do you have a good memory with the Game Boy or any of the Game Boys?
Well, yeah. Actually, I mentioned this earlier. Going off of Anthony's, I lived as the second child in my family, so I was always playing
Me too.
games with my older brother. So he would actually, sorry, I wouldn't be playing them most of the time. He'd be playing them. I'd be telling him to do things which would annoy him. So like he was the one who had the Pokemon, like the Pokemon Color, and he had Yellow originally, and then he got Pokemon Crystal by trading it to our cousin.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So it was really fun, but I couldn't save over it, so I would always like steal his Pokemon Color, his Game Boy Color, and play Pokemon I think Gold on it for like 3 or 4 hours, and I'd get to I think Goldenrod City, and then I would have to. It was the one with the milk tank with the whatever.
Oh,
her name
Whitney.
is. Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah, I would get about there, and then I'd beat her.
That bitch.
She's
and then,
so hard.
Oh yeah.
She's
And I'd beat her, and then I would have to like say goodbye to all that hard work, and like until next time when I see you anew kind of shit.
I didn't realize because I got the Crystal version and then Silver later. In Crystal version, when you get to Goldenrod, there's that little nursery, and you get a free egg.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's completely random or if it's like based on what starter you get.
Isn't it always Togepi or something? Or
No, it's not always Togepi. It's like you can get Magmy, you can get
Oh.
it's like it's when they introduced
when
the
the baby
pre-evolutions.
Pokemon
Yeah,
was a
exactly.
thing. Right, yeah.
I think they
I forgot
brought
about that.
they like introduced them in the second movie before the second generation came out, I think. Because I remember watching Pokemon 2000, which, by the way, it's the best. I think it's the best Pokemon movie.
Wait, time out. Is it Pokemon 2000 and Pokemon 3000? Or is it Pokemon 3?
Pokemon
The one
3.
with Entei? Is it just 3?
Yeah, but it's just Pokemon.
There's some that were like
3.
still right about the
Pokemon
time.
3D.
But I mean, it
No,
probably
that's
wasn't
true,
even known
actually.
it was because the unknowns were all.
I'm not making a joke here. That actually was.
No, like a lot of
yeah.
like Spy Kids 3D was a thing. So like
Yeah.
a lot of the like around that time, a lot of the movies, if they were 3, like guys, we got to get a third movie out there just to put 3D. It's like with Taken. They were like they made the whole movie series as a purpose to say Taken 3, but like the E in Taken was the 3.
Did you know that they're coming out with a new Pokemon movie in theaters this year? It's called Pokemon I Choose You, and the big like wallpaper for it is Ho-Ho flying off in the distance with like a feather falling down, and like Ash and Pikachu just like laying on the ground.
So hold up. Is it like a throwback to the like original Pokemon series?
I don't know. It has Ash. It has Ash in it. It's
or is
not
it like
red,
off
blue,
of
and all
like
that.
Sun and Moon? Because
I
those
have
are the
no
most
clue.
recent things.
Well, I only can assume because like in the very first Pokemon episode, you saw Ho-Ho. Maybe you didn't know it was Ho-Ho, but flying away in that scene of like Ash and Pikachu on the ground.
Well, yeah.
And that's what it showed, but
Well, I remember
I'm going to see it.
I would say that's a pretty obvious throwback to that, but I will say this. I have trouble watching some of the newer made Pokemon anything.
Yeah.
Because I miss the original voices.
Yeah, they recently changed Ash's voice. Originally it was one person.
Yeah.
And then around Orange
It was-
Island, maybe a little bit later, they got to a second person.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they just changed.
It's always been a chick, as far as I know.
It has always been a chick.
Yeah, just like Jimmy Neutron.
Yes, just like
And
Jimmy
Bart
Neutron.
Simpson and
I can remember.
Jimmy Turner was a girl too, wasn't
oh, probably.
Yeah, that was what's her name? She does Raven.
he?
Also,
Really?
yeah,
No
she's the
shit.
voice of Raven in Starfire, I believe.
Oh, I
Starfire
thought you
Raven,
were
same
talking about
person.
Raven Simone.
No, not Raven Simone.
I'm like,
She just got a new show.
Yeah, she's coming back. Yeah,
She just got a new. Like I don't know what it's called, but I'm just.
it's like, I hear she does a Dynamite Timmy Turner though. Apparently.
Okay, hold on. So, do we want to talk about Game Boy games or Pokemon now?
I feel like at this point it's gone from Game Boy games to
Pokemon,
Pokemon to just
okay.
overall nostalgia.
Look,
There was also going to be an inevitable amount of overlap, I think, with the two.
Yeah.
Because Pokemon honestly was kind of like the flagship
For
for
sure.
the Game Boy.
For sure, it's like Smash Bros. With a lot of the
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Nintendo
Well,
systems.
For
They
the
have-
sake
they
of
have
playing
one.
by the rules a little bit, I guess, I'm going to throw it back even further.
Okay.
Yeah.
To the very first game of any sort that I actually played.
Uh-huh.
And I went to, so I am significantly younger than most of my cousins are.
Yeah.
And so I was a little kid when most of them were like late grade school, early middle school. Like my closest cousin in age is about 10 years older than I am.
Right.
And I was at her house and she had the original Game Boy. The one that didn't have any color.
Oh yeah. Eric's got that one.
And,
Eric has that.
it's this big, like, gray block. You know, the kind that you almost feel like you should be like building structures with it instead of playing
That's
games.
what you do when you have your TI-84 now. That's what the original Game Boy had. They had Blockman or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I still remember some of the codes of that shit.
But the game that I played on that was Wario World.
That was okay. It was essentially like I don't want to say a knockoff Mario, but you were playing as Wario in a platformer-esque.
It's absolutely a Mario knockoff. That's absolutely.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
Isn't that the whole purpose of
Wario? Yeah. Well, I mean, like Wario is like I think wa in Japanese is like the anagram for bad, so that's like how they introduced him. But I really don't know. I don't know if that was his first game or what. But I believe the WarioWare games, if you've played those,
I have. Yeah.
I think those are it's like all minigame based. I play those games millions. I've never played them, but they look so much fun.
Well, it's kind of like how we what's that game that we've been playing? Move or Die. It's like a bunch of mini games, and you got to do them quickly. But with the ones I've seen, the WarioWare games I've seen, it's more one person at a time.
Yeah.
And you like pass around. You pass around like a Wiimote. You got to do different things, and if you screw up, then you get like 3 strikes or something.
Yeah.
It's a fun drinking game. I've seen that.
It seems like it's kind of like the Wii Play, I guess. Maybe not exactly like the Wii Play. You know what? Let me take back that.
Isn't Wii Play the one with like
the tanks and the duck hunting one,
that's just
and the ping pong and all that? Which, by the way, we're just gonna go everywhere with this podcast. I don't care. Fuck focusing on Game Boys. I think Wii Sports and Wii Play may have been like the top 5 games.
Wii Resort was one too.
Oh, and Wii Resort, top 3 games the Wii put out. It had, like, just itself, like, the games that the Wii came with were really fucking fun.
Alright, I'm a little bit biased, though, because the Wii put out
I know what you're gonna say.
What?
Metroid.
They put out the trilogy.
Exactly.
Like, so good. Alright, so,
but playing it on the Wii was so weird.
Oh, it was even better. No, alright, so, some backstory. One of those games I mentioned that I talked about and not played while my brother played was Metroid Prime, the original GameCube one.
That's a phenomenal game.
It was so good. It was fantastic, and like I remember specifically at one point, my parents went out to Oaks for the first time because the kids were old enough to have a babysitter.
Yeah.
And I was telling my brother, I was like, "Oh, go look there, and I was pissing him off so much that he threw the box for the game. And if you guys remember those boxes, they're kind of hard plastic.
Sharp corners.
I have a scar through my eyebrow because of it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, straight up, like this one right here. Yeah. Yeah, so straight up, we freaked out. We thought I was gonna get in so much trouble, so we tried to put a Band-Aid over it. But it's so much fun because I never played those as a kid. I always watched them. I knew everything about the game. I never played it. So I just recently, in the past 3 months, I played Metroid 1 by myself, and it was so much fun. I'm about to go into probably 2 pretty soon. But I like the fact that you can use the Wiimote, because imagine being able to point with a little cursor instead of having to with the original game, it was you had to stop, hold down a button, and
right.
then move around.
I completely
and I really
forgot
didn't
about
like that. It's possible to do it clearly because they had Metroid Prime 1 and Metroid Prime 2 like that.
Yeah.
But 3 came out on the Wii, and then they came out with the trilogy later with the same kind of UI and control use as Metroid Prime 3. And I just liked it. I mean, I know some people don't. Other M, I bought it. Actually, I don't think I bought it. I think I got it as a gift. Never played it. I did not hear great things, and I didn't really want to, ruin the nostalgia on it. Or I just never played it. I don't know.
Just like why I never played past the first 3 Spyro games. Actually, I tried Enter the Dragonfly, mentally vomited after uploading the game, and I was like, nope, can't play this game.
That was your system rejecting it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's so bad.
Here's a nostalgia throwback.
It's not Insomniac.
The one time I played Spyro with the Dragonfly thing, we rented it from a Blockbuster.
Oh my god.
We rented it from a Blockbuster, and it was the same kind of thing of me playing my brother's Game Boy. We had to get as far as we could in that weekend, and then we had to take it back.
Yes.
Oh,
I remember doing that shit.
It's on it's on the memory card for our GameCube. We had to move some space out of the way. All right, we'll get rid of some of Kirby Air Ride, some of Smash Bros. Or Sonic DX or all that kind of stuff. Adventure Battle 2. But it was
I hate to delete that one.
I accidentally deleted my brother's history once. I was a terrible kid, apparently. Now that I'm talking about all this stuff, I realize how shitty of a little brother I was.
Short story. my brother had a good friend, and whenever he would go over to their house, like I was, the younger brother that was annoying, and like if I asked a whole lot, they'd let me play with them, whatever game it was or whatever. But like it's like when you're a younger kid and you have a younger brother, it's like I'm gonna try and hang out with my friends. Don't be bothering me, that kind of thing. And he had a Banjo Kazooie. He had the N64, and he had Banjo Kazooie, and for those that know, it's a collectathon platformer. It's whatever. It's a great Rareware title. Excuse me, that was weird. I recommend everyone go and play it, but it's a really long game. And when you boot up the game, there's I think 3 save files that you can have. It's like, oh, Banjo's playing a Game Boy, he's sleeping in his bed, or he's cooking, and like each of those scenes represents a save file. And I didn't they'd let me play it, but I couldn't save over it.
Yep.
I saved over it when he was at the very end of the game.
Oh,
and I remember we came back inside later, and he was like, "Where's my game file? Where's my game file?" And he was like, "No!" And I was just like, "Oh, what's going on?" And I just remember being harassed by both of them, like, why would you do this? And I was like, I didn't mean to do it. It fucked with my head so much that go back, I think it was 2-ish years ago, when we had my brother's bachelor party. This friend came to it, and he gets out of his car, and he walks over, and before anything was said, I ran over to him and hugged him. I was like, "Patrick, I'm so sorry that I raced your Banjo-Kazooie game like 10 years ago. I really didn't mean it." And he was like, "Oh my God, Noah, you have no clue how long I've been waiting to hear that." And I was just like, oh God, it was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. It was... Oh God!
That reminds me of another reason why I was a terrible fucking kid.
Please,
can I say fucking?
Yeah,
I was a terrible fucking kid.
You can say fucking.
Because me and Noah have known each other for a long time, and I came over to his house one day when we were little kids, probably like 15 years ago.
I think it was a house party.
It was probably like a Christmas party or something. Now, back then on like Toonami and all that, Zoids was like the hot new show.
Which, if you don't know what Zoids is, imagine Gundams, which is like the giant robot mechs, except animals, and they fight each other in tournaments. That's all you really need to know.
And if you don't know what Gundam is, imagine Transformers with people in them.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good explanation. Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good.
But go on, Connor.
And then imagine those Transformers are walking on all fours, and then those are Zoids.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So Noah had this really cool model. Did you build it back then?
I built it. It was a model of a Liger Zero, and it had like a weird battery pack attached, so it like did like the crawly walk thing too.
I had that one when I was
you
little.
did too?
I did. Now that I think about it,
it was so cool. I loved that model. And then Connor.
So, love you, buddy. I was messing with it one day, like he said. I think it was a house party or something, because I don't think he was in the room when I was messing with it, and I was just trying to make it walk, and I guess I was trying to move the legs by myself, and I broke the legs off.
Oh, I remember clearly what happened, Connor. It wasn't you playing the room. We were up in my loft, and like most of the kids are playing video games, and there's a railing going alongside it, and you took my model, and you were just like acting like it was running. You're like, bang, bang, bang on the rail.
I don't remember the holy shit.
Like the white shield parts were like popping off. I'm like,
oh no!
I was like, be a good friend, don't say anything. And then it was like, bam, there goes one leg, bam goes the other leg, and I'm just sitting there like, just focus on Digimon Rumble Arena. Just focus on
I
battle.
am so sorry. Holy shit.
But
So alright, so that happened like 15 years ago when we were little kids, and maybe like 2 Christmases ago, so a year and a half ago, I bought Noah a Liger Zero model kit, like the legit full-sized thing. Well, not full-size, it wasn't like a giant mech, but it was, it was like a foot-long thing, and then I helped him put it together. And I think I was playing a bunch of Jason Derulo songs.
On my 21st birthday.
Yeah.
I didn't go out. I built a Zoid model.
Yeah.
I'm damn proud of that.
That was a great day. It was pretty good.
Oh, I had a blast. Did you ever make any models or like have Bionicles or something? When
Bionicles were amazing.
I did. In my household, our Saturday morning ritual was to watch like the Saturday morning cartoons on whatever channel, and then
like Looney Tunes or something like that.
Some of that, then like Power Rangers would
WB
come on,
Kids and stuff.
Yeah, mostly like that kind of stuff, and then a lot of the like the family safe anime shows that were on early Saturday mornings.
The
or
4Kids TV stuff.
Yeah, like the stuff that me and my dad would watch early in the morning, and then he would take me to Toys R Us, and I would get like a Bionicle or something like to build from one of the TV shows that I watched, and so yeah, I had pretty much every generation up to a certain point of Bionicles. Yeah, I had all of those.
I love those.
And because I loved collecting them, and I would build them, and then build the whatever the hell that all of them combined would make.
Oh,
I love
yes.
that too.
Because you could like combine them and make like a big one.
Yeah. I remember, yeah.
I think
so I had all of those.
I think the coolest ones were also the simplest ones. I think it was like the Matakua, where like they were the little ball ones that rolled out, and they had the trigger where they had like the weird bird neck where they like reach out and jab. I only had one of them, but they were so cool.
I remember there was the Mask of Light movie.
It
was like the second generation of I don't know if it was Motonui. It was
it was Motonui. I
think that might be.
I can't believe I remembered that shit.
Yeah, but either way, I remember that movie, and they came out with the I can't remember what it was. The Toa something. It was the golden mask guy.
Yeah.
It was the Mask of Light thing, and then I had him, and then I had the Makuta, the bad guy, the big bad guy, the shadowy kind of guy. Mm-hmm. I had him, and they combined, and it was so cool because it was just like you were saying. Like I really like the whole kind of building things.
Yes.
Which is why like I've built a couple Gundams kits since I gotten older. But I when I was growing up, I had all the Transformers. I was like you, except with Transformers.
Yeah.
I didn't have all of them because there's a fuck ton of them, but I had a lot of them.
Oh yeah.
See, I have a cousin named Anthony. It's
irony.
Not,
it's a family tradition.
It's not myself. It is there are two there are two male names in our family, Anthony and James. James is my dad. And then as our pretty much every other one of our relatives are James or Anthony, and my cousin Anthony number 4 is he's early 40s now. I mean he's a good bit older than me, but when he was a little kid was when the Transformers TV show first debuted.
Oh yeah.
And so he at his dad's house, my cousin Jim, my dad who is Jim and his cousin Jim.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's great. We have, Big Jim, Little Jim, Baby Jim, Jim up the farm.
Jim Bob.
Jim, believe it or not, Jim up the farm has one arm.
What? Really?
Great story about Jim up the farm before I get back to the Transformers thing. He lost his arm in a farming accident because it got caught in some farm equipment.
Or
something, I don't remember what it was, but it just tore his arm off. And he wakes up in the hospital and he's fine. You know, I mean, he's an old...
Wait. Which arm was it?
Actually, I don't remember.
Is he all right or is he left?
He's fine. I don't know what his... I mean, I can tell you what his handedness probably is now.
Oh, yeah, true. I just love the joke where it's like, what happens? Like, oh, he lost his left arm. It's like, oh, he's all right.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I've seen him so many times and I think he lost his left arm.
You only see him from one side.
Right. Well, it's just, I don't see him all that often.
No,
but anyway, he wakes up in the hospital and everybody's like, looking at him and I forget who he looked at, but he looked at maybe his wife or something like that and goes, "Is my dick still there?"
Oh, that's awesome.
Jim at the farm is a great guy. It sounds like.
I want to meet Jim.
He's an interesting fellow. He but he's one of the many Jims. My dad's Baby Jim.
It's surprising to think of your dad as Baby Jim.
Well, he was the youngest of that generation.
Okay, that makes sense.
Big Jim was a good bit older. His son is Little Jim, and then Jim Marquette is my cousin Anthony's father. And
Christ, it's the most confusing family tree.
I love it though. I absolutely
do like
love
it.
It's pretty rough. And my grandfather was Anthony, which is who I'm named after, and then he had a brother named Jim, and
it's just a vicious cycle.
Please get me a picture of your family tree. Jim.
The thing is, I have a huge family. Because my grandfather had like 8 siblings, and they all had kids and grandkids and what have you. But it's a family that immigrated from Italy.
Yeah,
they only know 2 American names.
No, wait. Do they pick the names by like a pachinko machine? They just drop a puck in and it goes ding 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 ding, and then it drops Jim or Anthony.
The machine's broken, so it's always going to Jim or Anthony.
Right, it might as well. But then you have my dad, where he kind of landed in the middle and didn't fall to either side. So my dad's name is James Anthony.
Oh my God.
But anyway, my cousin Anthony has at his dad's house has this huge tub of all of the original like Transformers toys.
Oh yeah.
And it's this massive, like perfect. Could probably make a lot of money off it if he ever sold it. He never would. I mean, they still have sentimental value to him, even though he's in his early 40s now.
Right.
Same here, yeah.
But he's just got this huge tub of those Transformer toys that are still sitting there at his dad's house.
That's me currently. I actually, because
I say I got the same thing.
My little sister had her graduation party recently, and I stopped by home to show my girlfriend all of the, because it was, she had been told that I used to have a lot of Transformers. I think Noah, you might have actually mentioned it to her.
Yeah.
Because I did. I had like a
You
loft.
did?
I had a loft bed at one point, and then I took the loft bed down, so I just left like the side parts that were essentially shelves, and I lined them with all the toys because I started like posing them and doing little stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it looked really cool, but at one point I had put them all in bins and put them up in the attic. So I brought her to my house, my family's house, and I was showing her all these things, and that struck and like started like a month-long expedition to find all of them that I could, because like there's a piece here that's part of something else that I don't see. I'm gonna find it. So I come home from work every once in a while and eat lunch at home because it's free food, and it's like closer to work than my house downtown.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped by during lunch, and I would go up in the attic, and it's summer at this point still, so I am sweating my ass off in my like office clothes, and I'm pulling out bins and bags of Transformers, and like sorting through them, and I've started like setting them up again, but Jesus.
Side note: does your building like lose AC a lot?
My house downtown or here?
No. Your building, like where you work at.
Oh no.
Okay, because like I swear at least 3 times, like I'll just get an email
Didn't it
or
flood
like
the other day?
Well, it didn't flood. I guess it kind of flooded. I don't know. Our building's got some quirks with it.
Hold
but
up. Is your building just your company, or is it something?
No,
like...
it's just our company.
Okay, because
Yeah.
ours is like owned by CBRE, the real estate company, and then our company subleases. I guess subleases, but we lease out either this floor, this other floor, and this section of this floor. So like it's not our building. So I guess it's up to them, and I guess they've been doing a pretty good job about it. But no, we haven't lost AC.
Going back to Transformers,
Yeah, enough
do you
about
remember what was like maybe the follow up to the original series on TV? That was where they were somehow animals.
Oh yeah, Beast Wars.
Beast
Wars.
Was that when it was like a weird 3D?
Yeah, it was.
version
It was
of
that kind of
Okay.
like computer generated when that was like the new cool thing. So they started doing that. Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of like, I don't know.
It was
why.
Optimus Primal, and he was a gorilla. It was pretty cool.
I remember that. Yeah.
And then I think Megatron. I don't know if he was called anything different, but he was a T-Rex, I believe. Don't quote me on this. I'm going off of like
memory.
second generation. Like they recolored some things later on. Like it wasn't. I didn't actually watch that series. The first series I watched on TV was Armada. I watched that, and then there was Armada, and then there was something, and then Cybertron. It was Armada, Energon, then Cybertron, and then actually the one on Netflix right now, Transformers Prime. He's honestly pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
It's like the new 3D.
It's not. I don't know if it's all that 3D. It's kind of cartoony 3D. It's less of like meant to look realistic 3D like Beast Wars was.
Is it like CGI or is it like...
It's like CGI animated, but it's absolutely like cartoony looking. It's really good. I honestly I liked it. It was what like brought me back into Transformers when I got to college, and that was the first Transformer I bought since I became old enough to pay for my own stuff.
Yeah.
Like after I got a job and all that stuff. Like I didn't buy.
I'm still not old enough yet.
Yeah. No. Like either way, but like I started watching some people on YouTube doing like toy reviews because like I thought it was interesting. It was like, oh cool, I remember that stuff. Or like I always wanted that and I never got it, and I got to see people mess around with it a bit. But one guy, his name's Bolt Matrix on YouTube. Look him up. He's awesome. Send your love his way. He's a great guy. I don't know that. He seems like a great guy. But
could hate Jews for all we know.
He could be Jewish. I don't know.
Fair enough.
It could be a self-lothing Jew.
True. Yeah?
A a lot of them seem to be.
Well, I think most people are self-loathing at some point. So either way, he was doing a review of the Starscream from Transformers Prime, and that it was so cool to me that was the first Transformers. I was like, I'm gonna buy that, and then I bought it, and I still have it in my room at like downtown.
All right, so that brings an interesting question, because I don't know how big you guys are on collecting things.
Yeah.
But do you prefer things in RFB? Which stands for, if you remember, the Dexter's Lab episode, never removed from box.
No, I can't do that.
So you're a removed from box guy?
I gotta play with it.
I'm also a removed from box
guy.
However, I will say, I mean, with my personality, I wouldn't say I have like an addictive personality, but like whenever I get invested in something, I like have to finish it.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I'm with you.
And so like if there's a series of things, like part of the reason why I had to have like all of the Bionicles and it was like the completing the generation was satisfying for me. And
it's like that last little puzzle piece.
And so it's I mean, it's gonna sound like I was just a greedy little shit kid, which I mean definitely maybe.
Well, I feel like a lot of kids are, so it's not a big deal.
Well, right, but it just for me it's, and I'm even like, you know, as an adult now, I'm still kind of like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I can't study a little bit at a time. I have to like fucking blow through units at a time. I can't imagine.
I don't get how people do that. Like, oh, I'm gonna study for 20 minutes and then
like every day.
Like, no, I gotta do it in like a 5-hour chunk.
Right.
Or else I'm not gonna do anything.
Right.
I'm terrible about that. But like I grew up with like ADHD, so I can't. I either do it all at once or I forget to do it. That's the problem. So it's like, if I do 20 minutes, like, all right, cool. Next day I'm like, right, I was supposed to study, and it's already nighttime. I'm not going to do it.
But anyway, to answer your question, I was definitely like a completionist, and that like I wanted to have a full set, but I was not. I had to remove it from the box. I wanted to be able to play with the whole set.
They were toys, though. That's the
big
thing.
Yeah.
Like, they were toys, and like as a kid, and also this could just have been me. I was really hands-on and like visual with things. Like with Transformers, like I could tell you how to transform it looking at it in the box, but I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I wanted to do it myself.
Well, let me pose another question for you, because this is something like I have. Like I'm currently right now saving for a house. Hopefully in the next. Oh God, it's already August. So in the next 4 months. God, is that right?
Like 5 months.
In the next 4 or 5 months, after my last semester in college, I'll be able to get a down payment for a house, which is really fucking scary to just say out loud, but I'm super ready for this. And like I have Amazon folders just like filled with shit that I know I want in my house. But I'm definitely, one of my rooms that I'm gonna have is gonna be devoted to, recording, gaming. It's gonna be like my small man cave, essentially.
The orange beanie room.
My orange beanie room, exactly. And I'm gonna have like soundproofing all over the walls. It's gonna be great. But there's like, you'll see like select YouTubers, like most gaming YouTubers, they kind of have like a shelf wall behind them, and it's like filled with games.
Yes.
And you'll just see it like decked out, and then they might have like amiibo here, or like something from an exclusive whatever pre-order item there. Would you ever, let's say for your favorite game, and I'm gonna say one of my favorites, I don't know if it is my favorite, is Spyro the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about which one. Would you, let's say you already have a game to play, would you pay the extra blank amount of money, which if you find a game that's still sealed, still has the like little cellophane on it, it's normally pretty expensive, would you buy a game exclusively for the like, this isn't getting removed, it's getting put in a shadow box kind of thing?
Maybe not a video game. Maybe like
something along those lines.
Maybe if it was like an amiibo. I don't know about like. A lot of that stuff is built to be, like displayed. A lot of the things like I like the Gundam kits,
the models
built,
and that,
or like Transformers or Bionicles. Like a lot of those are built to be displayed and like positioned. Now I might put that case up there and say like, oh, this is like a fancy.
Fancy case, yeah.
Like,
okay.
Don't get me wrong. I have one book at my house downtown, and it is it's really cheap, but it looks fancy. It's Sherlock Holmes I got from Barnes and Noble. It's got like the gold.
Got the gold trim, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got the gold trim and all that shit. It looks beautiful, but I mean, I have it out. I didn't leave the cellophane out because it looks better without it. I mean, honestly, that's me. I don't know. Other people can do different stuff.
What
What
I
about
would
you?
I would say just because like I've always liked video games in the sense that I like enjoyed playing them as a kid.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really grow up
Gamer, if you will.
well, if you want to call it that, yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say the equivalent for me, like a situation where I could definitely see myself like getting something in the packaging and having it on display. You know, as you guys know, like I'm a pretty decent golfer.
Yeah.
And I play golf frequently.
Yeah.
I could now, and this is a kind of a meathead thing to say in golf, but like my favorite club is my driver.
Yeah.
And
I mean, obviously, it makes
well,
sense.
it's the you know, the sexiest club in the sport is what it's called, because it's when you can hit it well, you're gonna hit it 300 yards. It's gonna be this long hit. It's gonna be high off the tee and all of that.
Beautiful sound.
Oh yeah, and it's loud. But I can also like I know everything about a driver. You know, I can tell you the physics behind all of it. I can tell you what different kinds of shafts or club heads and all that are gonna do to the ball. It's my favorite club.
Yeah.
I could, if I ever had the income for it, I could see myself buying like $1,000+ driver just to own, like,
Just to have it.
let's say
To be the sword or gun on the mantle. so to
yeah.
speak.
yeah.
That's
Let's say
right,
there's
yeah.
a very nice like Titleist or TaylorMade. Like I'm a big TaylorMade fan currently, going through a big TaylorMade phase.
It's not a phase, Mom.
The problem is I can't really afford to be going through a TaylorMade.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I understand.
Same here.
But yet here we are.
Yeah.
But if there was a very nice like TaylorMade, like whatever their newest top of the line, like probably even used by a professional golfer on tour, kind of a driver, I would buy that. Probably not take the plastic off the club, the cellophane wrapping around the club head. Probably not remove it. Probably like have it somewhere where I could see it and be like, I have that.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna use like, cause I use a Nike driver anyway. Like it's a nice driver to begin with.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna stick to that and just be able to look at the nice driver that I am. That to me, that's like I think a fair equivalent.
That's what I hear people do with like cars usually. Like, you know, they get like, I can afford this like this nice ass car. I'm not gonna drive it very much. Like this fancy Corvette. I'm gonna leave it here. Keep it pretty.
It's like your
you know, wash
Sunday
it up.
driver.
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
like
thing.
this is where I like. This is what I take when I want to be fancy.
Right.
But for the most part, I'm gonna drive my Kia Optima.
If I ever have enough money in life to afford this is my fancy car, then I'm gonna be set. I don't think that's ever like I don't think
that's not how I'm gonna spend my money. But
this is the
it's
car
like,
I drive on Sundays.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of people have like
I don't
those
even
old.
drive
Is
on
it
Sundays.
Oldsmobiles? I think.
You wait, what?
Yeah.
Like the Oldsmobiles.
Yeah.
Like you'll see like.
Oh no!
Especially around our neighborhood,
the
you'll see
the
people.
antique cars.
Yeah, you'll see
Oldsmobile
people.
is like a brand. I thought.
Is it a brand? I don't know.
It is a brand.
I'm thinking of like the jalopy looking.
No.
cars.
You're talking like the ones with like the license plate with like the old looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an antique car.
Okay,
It's like
well, I'll say
25 plus years.
like you see those always driving around on Sundays, and it's like never like.
Well, they have
The oldest car, like I prefer trucks just because I use them all the time with what I do.
Yeah.
But like, if I was gonna get an old car, and it's not even that old, holy shit! I just blanked on the name. Oh God, it's the my whole
Well, while you're thinking of
no,
that,
it's no. I'm gonna okay. It's the car, but it's a truck. It has the truck bed.
the El Camino.
El Camino, thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, why did I just blank on that?
No,
I would love to have an El Camino.
my
The
mom's
Joe
dad.
Dirt
My
truck.
mom's dad. He used to refurbish old cars, so he had like a 1953 Ford. He was all Ford, by the way. He was all Ford. I don't know why. I think it was just something he had when he was growing up, so he was really big into it. And they were really cool. Him and his brothers, and his wife's brothers had all three the same car, except in different colors. So his was like the white and red. The other one had the white and like, baby powder blue, and then the other one was like the white and kind of golden brown. It was really cool. I loved seeing those three together. But I was saying, my Sunday driver, if I had to, pick off, the pristine antique car, I'm just, go all for it. Model T, let's do it. Just bring one of those out of the museum. See if it still runs. Like, why don't you drive that one enough? Because it doesn't fucking run.
It doesn't move. We have to push it.
It runs on straight, like, it's not even, like, refined oil. It's just you pull it out of the ground, stick it in the thing, and you go. and sort of putts around a little bit.
Speaking of not running,
I'm not
Fuck
running either.
cardio. Go on.
well, no. So
I ran too much last week and now I'm hurting.
Well, you know there's like a Ford car called the Nova.
Yeah. I know it. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they had trouble selling that car in Spanish-speaking countries because Nova doesn't go.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So,
is
so
like the.
It's
conjugated.
the verb for
To go, yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it veer or no? No, not veer. Ver.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a conjugated form of there.
So it roughly
whatever.
translates into doesn't go or doesn't
It's
run.
like no
so,
go. It's like a no go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So they had trouble selling that car in
That's
Spanish-speaking
great.
countries.
That's awesome.
It's like they have different names for different cars. Like I don't know why this is again, but I just remember seeing it from one of my favorite shows, Psych. If you guys ever watched it,
I've seen every episode. I love Psych.
I'm looking forward to that movie.
Same.
So psyched. God damn it! I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. Normally I do a lot of puns, but that was absolutely by accident. I'm sorry. But
Can't turn
legitimately,
it off.
it's a curse, I swear. But no, I noticed in that show once because but this is a throwback too. Back when I had a Nokia flip phone that had a little button on the side that popped it open, and when it opened, it had a little snake background. It made a little. It was like just like shaking the.
I love that phone. It wasn't even
great.
my
It was a
phone.
great phone. It was
You
funny
guys
because
rehearsed
the
that
only
for the podcast.
Oh no.
the only game
We've talked about this phone a lot though.
Yeah, yeah.
Specifically because of the snakes.
Yeah, so I signed up for the Psych when it was still airing back in like 2010. I signed up for the like Psych Facts thing. So every episode would come out and they'd be like, "Where was the pineapple hidden?" Because there's a pineapple
Yeah,
in
every
every
episode.
episode. And you'd send it in, and if you got it right, they'd send you like sweet wallpapers for your phone. And it would just be like the guys like, "Ha!" and like they're pointing double guns at you, and it's just pretty funny.
That sounds so cool.
But in the show, the car that they have, the little blueberry that they call it, if you were in the U.S., you would see it. It's a Toyota Echo, but I can't actually. It might be an Echo in the show, but the other term for it is a Toyota Yaris.
Yaris is the name that I'm
Yeah.
familiar with.
Yeah,
I thought it was
because
a Yaris.
So a Yaris I think must be the name in the U.S., but they filmed the show in Canada, in Vancouver. So that's why. Well, they filmed most of it in Vancouver. Some of the shots they did actually do down in California, but it's just that kind of thing of like they name things differently in different areas. Sometimes for no reason, I guess, but for that one, like for the Nova, it's just a funny little like, shit, we should have thought of that before we named it. Marketing, you're fired.
We're trying to sell a car that literally tells you it doesn't work
I mean,
in the native tongue.
Yeah, I'd like the Chevy shit spitter.
That's pretty much. I probably wouldn't buy a car that was the Chevy shit spitter.
No.
Maybe I would.
I think I would.
I
Just
just
like a
buy
nice-
car.
if a company
nice-
was ballsy enough to be like, "This is the Ford shit spitter," I'd be like, "Take my money."
This is the Ford fuck nugget. Get through or get out.
The Ford fuck nugget.
I'm Tony Melito.
Oh fuck.
Can you imagine if
He
a
watches
guy of
this
his caliber-
podcast?
If a guy of that caliber starts selling like the Ford fuck or like
I got an overshipment of Ford fuck nuggets. I need you to get them off my lot by Thursday.
or like he like scrapes off the names on the back of all the cars and puts on racial slurs or something like that. Like,
Jesus.
Oh God.
Oh.
that could be one of them.
The sad part is he's doing great.
Oh yeah, no. Did
He's
you
been
know
around
that
forever.
He's been on
his thing is apparently like a set-up thing that they have for other car salesmen in different areas. Apparently, somebody told me they drove like some other part of Kentucky, and somebody else was using the exact same script, the yelling and everything. They're like, "I'm so and so, Billy Mays here. Here's a Ford fuck nugget for $5,000.
What Billy Mays? He's dead.
No down payment." Yeah, no, very.
I remember.
He died of a little bit of white powder, apparently. Not
What?
Yeah,
Oxycontin.
Clorox.
Yeah. He was a cheater of the brand. He used Clorox. No, he straight up did cocaine. Absolutely.
I
did.
remember.
Well, yeah, have you seen his commercials?
Yeah, that beard was not always that dark.
I don't think he was doing cocaine. I think the directors were feeding him cocaine.
It's like, all right, Billy, here's your, pre-shot, sniff.
Right.
A lot of people are like, I remember where I was when like the towers fell, but I was kind of too.
I remember where I was when Billy Mays died.
Oh, I remember where I was.
I was at my cousin's.
My friend called me.
I was at my cousin's graduation, and then I was at my other cousin's graduation when Michael Jackson died.
Oh my god.
Apparently, graduations are a horrible time for famous celebrities. All right, sorry. One of them's Michael Jackson, the Prince of Pop, and the other one's Billy Mays. I don't know if they're like the same.
The Prince of Advertising.
Jesus.
But that's so weird. It's just like I remember like getting a call from Ben of all people, and he's like, "Dude, Billy Mays died," and I was taken back. Like, what? What happened? Like, what happened to Billy? I'm like, why the fuck do I care?
In my mind, I'm thinking you just sitting there and be like, what was he expecting my reaction to be like? Oh no, when's the funeral?
Not Billy.
The funny thing is, I can tell.
But wait, there's more.
I really wish there was like Ben was like sulking in his room for 3 days after he found out that Billy Mays died.
Oh,
Oh god.
He's got like all his posters and he's got a little tiny Billy Mays like.
He's stroking his OxyClean poster, saying, "You were taking too soon, sweet prince."
It cuts to Ben in like a blue button-down shirt, a Sharpie beard on his face. He's cleaning his toilet with OxyClean.
Tears streaming down his face. He's coloring in his beard with Sharpie, saying, "But wait, there's more."
Billy's not gone. There's more. And he does a line of coke. Pouring one out for the old man.
I'd love to think Billy was just like 110% in every aspect of his life.
He was 110% cocaine.
Well, that's where I'm going with this. Like somebody hands him a bouquet of flowers, like, "Hey, Billy, smell this," and he just buries his face in it. He
takes the little powder packet that's supposed to be put in the water when you put the flowers in a vase. Ah, God, that's good stuff.
Jesus, he snorted.
What is this podcast?
He snorted a literal gallon of protein powder after his workout.
Okay,
Jesus Christ.
podcasts are a stream of consciousness. There's no direction.
Oh wait, we're streaming this?
You just go out and you talk. Like nothing connects at the end of this. I guarantee you'll go home and sit down and be like, what the fuck did I say? And then you'll listen to the podcast and be like, I said that shit.
Remember when I was young and dumb and used to bring an outline to this shit?
No, honestly, I really enjoyed that.
Time out. So. Here I'm curious now. Speaking of the outline, and I know you've done this for podcasts before, but for classes, for like speech classes, you're like, all right, you can have like a note card or something.
Yeah.
Do you guys practice before a speech, or do you run through the concept in your head? And you're like, yeah, I'm fine.
For a speech?
For like a class.
Oh, well,
you got a communication class.
Are we talking like a speech or a presentation?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
they're
pretty much the same.
Like that project we had for marketing.
What would be a speech that you have that's not really a presentation?
Like if someone was like communication class, all right, marketing example. They're like, okay, sell me this product.
Okay, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, for like communication class, I did actually go through those things because I had to hit the time. But for like classes where you're given a presentation.
Oh, if it's just a presentation, I wouldn't necessarily rehearse the presentation itself. I would make sure that, like, normally I'd accompany with a slideshow.
Yeah.
So I would like make sure I knew what order my slides were in, so I knew what to expect next. And then I have like a note card that had like a handful of vague notes about like some talking points about whatever my next slide was going to be about. So that way, like, I knew what I was supposed to talk about, but for me, it was just as long as I knew the information well enough, it didn't matter.
For me at least, like, I always rehearsed it. We had that, was it BizCom? Mm-hmm. And we had
to give like a whole, so for people who don't know, me and Noah took business classes at University of Louisville, and one of the classes you have to get split up into groups. The whole class gets split up into like 5-person groups, and each group is a different part of a company, and you all have to present one group after another, present your section of the company to actual people in Louisville that run companies.
City council.
Yeah, so like to say like they're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. We'll bring that company to Louisville. But the teacher was very tough grader.
Yeah, definitely a tough grader. But like for that example, I memorize. Like obviously, I never say exactly what I want, but I'd make sure that I memorize what I want to say, because I personally don't like having words on PowerPoints, because then I lose my audience, because as soon as I click something, they're like, oh, there's something to read. They're not hearing what I say. So normally when I do PowerPoints, it's like a bullet point and a picture, because I want them to be like focused on me and what I'm saying, which is what I did with that one. But like I'll definitely rehearse. Like I'll take a 2 or 3 hours to like memorize something, and I'll start the
okay.
speech, keep talking until like I hit a stopping point, and it's like, oh, I forgot what to say. I start over again and keep doing it. So like
Really?
so like that's how I
That
met.
sounds like
that's
a pretty exhaustive like process. Like 3 hours of just going over.
Well, that's how I study for my
2-minute
exams.
speech?
Like, let's say it's like you need to know all this vocab for marketing.
Does that include writing the speech, or is that just rehearsing it?
Rehearsing.
Like just the 3 hours? Okay.
Well, I don't say.
Sorry, no, a couple
I
hours,
rehearse it until I got it memorized.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like for
Yeah,
like
for
whenever I'm studying for an exam, let's say there's 10 vocab marketing questions for a quiz or whatever. Like I'll list them out, and I'm like, all right, blank, read it, and then I have to like look away from the paper, recite it, and then I have to look at the next one and say it. If I get it wrong, I start over, and I go down until I get that like 100%, and then it's like when I hit that 100%, I'll do it like 2 more times to be like, cool, got it, and then that's when
I'm just curious because like I know people like learn differently and like study differently. It's like I'm always curious to see how people use like different study habits, like even different between like this is how I study for a test, this is how I study for speech and stuff. You know, for me, for like speeches, I don't practice as much because I feel more confident with being able to have the gist of what I'm gonna say, and then I can kind of work around it with like how you say like you don't always know exactly what you're gonna say.
Yeah, but
like, I'll throw in different things, but I have like I have bullet points of what I want to hit.
I know the point.
Yeah. For me, the way I present a PowerPoint is one bullet at a time, sound, animation, all of it, and that's how I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't actually do that. It would be painful. Just be like, ding, like, yes, I have to speak about the medieval Renaissance and, what that had to do with Billy Mays snorting cocaine or something.
In the medieval Renaissance.
Yeah, he was there.
But it also kind of depends on your instructors, because back in high school, I never studied because I had great professors and they assigned you work to do every single night. So you knew your shit before you went into the exam. Whereas when you hit college, like...
They don't give a fuck.
Well, I have a couple good professors, but like most of them are just kind of like, here's the thing, go. And then like when you get to the test, you're like, I'm not prepared for this. Like this is, obviously it's not high school.
I always love the professors who are like, all right, this test, you just have to study chapters 3 through 37, but pay close attention to all of it. Actually, because that's you need to know all of it for this test.
That was actually the beauty of being a math major in college, is because like you got a broken down syllabus on day one that was like, this is the topic we do, and it like tells you what you do every day of class.
Oh, we do that too. Yeah.
It's just, but like it's also like when most things in math like build off of previous things that you learned.
That sucks though, because if you miss or like don't understand one concept, then you're fucked.
Yes and no. Typically, like, because things build and you continue to use it, even if you didn't necessarily master something in time for an exam, like typically you're able to kind of
after a while
work
you
it
can
out.
Yeah, you can figure it out and then you're fine.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that was one of the few perks of being a math major, is like, I didn't necessarily have to go through and memorize things. I just had to kind of learn some concepts and see how they work.
Well, I enjoy being able to work, like, honestly, like, a ton of my classes, especially because it's not the major that I wanted, like, a lot of my stuff, like, I just burned and turned. Like, there's tons of classes I can look back now and be like, I got nothing. Like, I passed that class because I had to pass that class because I had to change my major. Now, if I was originally doing what I wanted to do, like, I know I'd be able to recite it because that original major was a language and something I wanted to do. But like, it's like as soon as like my school was just like, oh, it's not a thing anymore. Sorry, you're not going to be able to do that. Like I
would have thought you'd get grandfathered in or something. Because you started it. When,
I know it's some shenanigans, whatever it was. But like my whole brain just kind of like shut down. It's like, okay, now I'm finishing college with this degree that. Yeah, it's gonna look nice on a resume, but it's like, I really don't want to do this. Like, this is not what I wanted to do, but here I am, a super senior, finishing my last semester with essentially a capstone and like 3 classes in an internship that really don't mean nothing. Same. But, I'm gonna, hopefully, after school's done, like, I guess, it's gonna be weird doing full-time work, but, I think that's also going to open up a lot of doors for me to get back into what I want to do and learn a language.
You have all that like free time after work. That's like, so you're done at 5 or whenever you're done. Yeah. And like
exactly, which means like I've done landscaping since I was 10 years old with my family, and then eventually I kind of grandfathered the company where like my family was like, we don't want to do this anymore, you take over it. I still do that. As soon as I graduate college and get a job, I'm fucking done with that. Like I'm right, like I'm just ready for like, what you said, that time.
Angelica do it?
No, well, no, I'm saying find someone else to like do your yards, but like you don't like that, just time in general. It's weird to think just like there's not that much of it.
Yeah.
In the sense that like I haven't had a free weekend in a long time.
No, I feel that. But it's also you're planning stuff so far ahead too.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for my house. I'm excited to start learning the language that I want to learn again. I'm excited to build my man cave. There's a lot of exciting things. I just fuck, I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Silver. So I got Sapphire when I turned 8, and like Anthony was saying a little bit ago, he got the yellow in the Pokemon Yellow. I got a blue Game Boy SP when I turned 8 on my birthday, and then my parents kind of like sneakily got me Sapphire because my older brother had Ruby and the red Game Boy. So anyway, it was really cool because like I could actually save over my own game. And I built up all my characters, and I still have it. I just found it when I went through and found all my Transformers. It was pretty cool. So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
You're really making me want to go back home and dig through storage and see like what I still have in storage.
Before we did this podcast, I found my old Game Boy Color, and it is just wrecked. Like, look, there's a little plug on the side of it where you could plug in the light, so that you how they had like a little robot light that could sit over top of it. It's destroyed. You can't plug anything in. I found my old Game Boy Yellow, or my Pokemon Yellow. Let's see. What are these other games I picked up? Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories,
I had that.
It was bullshit. Like, it was a fun game, but like you could get the old cards, and there was a tiny number on the bottom left, and you could punch it in, and then you could like buy the cards. But any card you put in there, I was like, I want to put the blue eyes in there, and you put the blue eyes in there. And it's like, how many coins is it? It's like 99999, like maxed out. And there's no code to get coins, so you're just like...
I didn't know Germany made that game.
Fuck up. And then just like Shrek, it's some weird Smash Brothers clone.
I had a Tarzan game.
Oh yeah, I played that game.
But you're like young Tarzan, and you're like jumping and swinging from vines and stuff and getting bananas. Not going bananas, you're getting bananas. And it was so much fun.
Okay.
That and the Thornberries.
Let's save this Game Boy podcast for a different... I mean, I know we didn't touch it on it all, but there are a bunch of games that I'd really like to talk about down the road.
We should actually come prepared for that one.
Yeah, well, Anthony, I might need you to write it
down. I can do that. And let's try to milk this one for all it's worth, because this upcoming Saturday I got to drive back to Columbus for my cousin's bachelor party, and I need something to listen to on the road.
Okay, you know what? We can keep going for a little bit.
Yeah, if you don't mind. I certainly would love to be able to listen to the sound of my own voice on the car for a little longer.
Okay, so let's go back. Let's not talk about the Game Boy necessarily right now. Let's go back to Pokemon. Let's go through the generations, at least that we know. Okay. And I'd like to know your favorite Pokemon. You can say like, favorite competitive, favorite just because. I don't care. Your favorite Pokemon. Let's just go through the lineup, working from left to right. Anthony, first generation. Who do you think your favorite Pokemon is? Let's say non-legendaries and legendaries.
Non-legendary, I'm gonna go with Blastoise.
Really?
Yeah, and I've got a reason why.
Okay, go on.
So, and this was from the TV show, and you get into I guess would have been the third season with the Johto League.
Yeah.
Is the first time that
Pokemon Johto.
when Ash and Gary battle, it's the first time you actually see Gary's starter, and it is this absolute monstrosity of a Blastoise. Like it is like you'd think it's like 10 stories tall and like an absolute badass.
Yeah.
That is why
you like Blastoise.
I like Blastoise.
You're just like, that's fucking cool.
Because it's a tank.
It's like that turtle has cannons.
Yeah. You ever seen that video of the the intro, and it's like, well, it might just be like a meme online somewhere. Where it's like you have Charizard doing like flamethrower, and then Blastoise doing like hydro pump or something, and then you just see Venusaur standing there like, what is Venusaur doing? It's like his best.
Yeah. He's just sitting there like, man. And then there's that one random girl in the first intro that literally never shows up. It just was for Pikachu to run through her skirt, I guess, because...
Can't blame him.
Because anime, I don't know. Alright, so Connor, what was your favorite first gen... Oh, I'm sorry, Anthony. Did you have a...
Legendary,
did you like any of the legendaries in that one? I mean, you had.
I mean, the first generation has I think very like straightforward. I mean, like what was supposed to say Mewtwo.
I mean,
like,
yeah, like he's okay, fair enough. You know
one
what?
of the birds.
Skip that one. Okay, Anthony, Connor.
No, my
favorite
name's
Pokemon.
Jim.
Jim.
It's Anthony.
It's the
and
only
Jim.
other name.
Oh, you're in the
available.
family tree too.
Yeah, apparently I just got adopted. I had to change my name legally. I'd have to say one of my favorites from Gen 1 was Scyther, because you remember how you had the bug catching contest.
Yeah.
You had the bug catching contest, and I always wanted to get either a Scyther or a Pinsir. And I just thought Scyther looked so cool, because I really liked the whole angular design of some of that stuff, some sharp kind
Oh,
of stuff
so
was
you
really
actually caught a Scyther? I think that was Gen 2. You caught a Scyther in the bug catching
cool. Was it
contest?
Gen? Oh,
Well, I think that's when the... No, well, I mean,
Well, he was a
Scyther's
Pokemon.
Gen 1,
Yeah.
but you got him in, like, the bug catching contest. But I
Yeah.
didn't catch shit in
one
that
of
contest.
my many escapades of never being saved. So I would play for a very long time, and then
Get the Scyther and be like, no, I have to erase you forever.
yeah, no, you'd be like level 16, and like somebody would
Oh,
win
yeah.
with like a level 22 Caterpie, like fuck you, little Jimmy.
I don't
you
even
piece
know.
of shit.
I don't know what you won from that contest.
Like a Pokeball or like a
Oh,
potion
something-
or some
something
shit. Not
really
big,
shitty.
like a
Oh,
netball. I don't know.
I love Abra. Not
He is
Kadabra. I don't like Kadabra, and I don't like Alakazam.
What's wrong with them though?
I just don't like them. Like, I know they're good. Like, competitively, I
not
play
like
with
the
them.
designs.
I really like the design of Abra.
Okay.
He's just like a chill little dude that sleeps, and essentially he has like one of Goku's most awesome moves, which is instant transmission. He can teleport anywhere. Yeah.
It was a pretty handy move too, because like I don't know if this is still a thing in the games, but at one point you could use it instead of using an escape rope.
Yeah,
If
definitely.
you're stuck in like
and it'd take you to like
you're
the
stuck
last
in like a
Pokemon
cave,
Center.
which I was horrible about getting stuck in caves until Emerald, when I got the book that came along with it,
God, yeah.
because I pre-ordered it at Toys R Us. When you pre-ordered games at Toys R Us, which again, like that time
That's
I
an old
rented,
sentence.
this is like when I rented Spyro from fucking Blockbuster, so ages ago. But when I got that little booklet, it was like, here's all the maps. I was like, well, fuck, why didn't I do this before?
Yeah. And that's the thing that's died out. There's no more strategy guides anymore.
They are. They're just online.
I was gonna say I have a strategy. Well, yeah, people are making them, but I think there was something neat to like own it. Like I have a strategy guide for the first Tomb Raider, and
Yeah.
it's awesome to look. Like you can see all the guys. It's like showing you where to go, all the
Yeah.
secrets. That's a really cool like collectible thing to have.
I mean, some strategy guides are pretty cool because like they have like art and stuff, and
Yeah,
some of
definitely.
them are.
Especially like the Emerald ones.
Oh
and
yeah,
all
it was
that.
pretty cool
Those
because
were,
it had like all the stats on all the Pokemon and stuff. Like,
Definitely.
some of the strategy guides are like really lame though, because like it's like a straightforward game. Like imagine like a strategy guide for shoots and ladders. Be like, all right, so you go up if you're on a ladder, and you go down if
Yeah,
you're on a chute.
exactly.
Try not to go on a chute, and you're like, fuck me, man. Like,
Yeah.
I need some pictures or something. I don't know what this means.
I just thought
I'm
like,
two.
I just thought like because I mean Abra really can't learn that many good moves. Like
I don't think you can learn anything
I've
until it
tried.
evolves.
Well, you can teach them trained moves or TMs.
Can you?
I think
Technical moves.
technical. Sorry, not trained
Technical
moves.
machines.
Technical
Shit!
machines, and then
Fuck.
it's hidden machines.
It's
Yeah,
hidden
I tried-
It's hidden move and
Oh,
technical
well,
machines.
fuck me! I don't, God damn it, Pokemon.
Why the hell do I know that? Wait a second.
Why do you know
I
that?
don't know.
But no, I think it's OP, like, in real life, just to be like, okay, let me touch my Abra, and we're, like, teleporting. Yeah, laugh at that, Connor. You
No wonder
shot-
he's gonna teleport away. You're like, let me touch my Abra. Where'd he go?
No.
Like it's a goddamn surprise.
Okay.
I'm gonna find him.
Okay, Anthony, Gen 2, we're not talking about touching Pokemon inappropriately.
Except for Gardevoir.
I love... No, shut up.
So I think we're gonna find out that I have a type.
Uh-huh.
My not like a Pokemon typing type, but like a
Ralligate?
Is it a turtle?
no. I'm gonna go with Tyranitar.
T-Tar.
Ooh, T-Tar is a dope one.
He's a hard one to
I like
trump. He was badass. It's like penises. Right? No, go on.
Tyranitar.
No, yeah,
Penises, am I right?
No, you were saying a T-Tar. What about
Yeah.
him?
So I just for me, I've always like when it comes to Pokemon, I've always enjoyed like things that are kind of like intimidating and like oppressive looking and
Isn't his ability intimidate or something like that?
yeah, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so like Blastoise was the big like turtle, and then Tyranitar is this big
like dragon looking thing.
Reptile, dragon. And
Yeah.
In that line, did you like Feraligatr?
I did. I never picked him though.
Really?
I was actually
Yes.
Well,
Typhlosion was
Typhlosion was
his,
the third.
Yeah,
Okay, Quilava was the middle.
I ended up picking.
Quilava for some reason the one that everybody remembers.
Because it's such a
name-wise.
great name.
It is a great
I love
name.
that name.
He was a really cool. I really liked his design. I ended up
It's a
picking
fire
Feraligatr.
badger. That shit
Yeah.
is so cool.
Exactly. My Feraligatr was level 100, and he was in my HM whore. He knew
Yeah,
cut,
I
strength,
feel
surf,
that.
and whirlpool. And
So sad.
I was a little kid, and I was
So
just
sad.
like, it's so convenient. He knows all the moves I need, and it was just But honestly, he doesn't really. Feraligatr doesn't have, at least in Gen 2, didn't have that much that he learned. Like Hydro Pump and
It was
like
also
Crunch.
before
and that was really
before
it.
they started double typing the starters too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Actually, no. I think Bulbasaur and Venusaur later on was grass poison.
Yeah, they're not, well like Charizard's fire flying.
Yeah.
Bulbasaur's
Grass
grass
poison.
poison.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which I didn't know for the longest time.
Yeah.
Well, it
Straight
took
up
a
didn't.
while. I think. I don't think he
Was
started.
it not? Was that?
I don't think he
not
started
original?
out as grass boy. I think
okay.
everything just had like a type
Originally, yeah.
Yeah.
back in that point. But did you say your second gen? Have we asked you what it would be?
I'd have to say Ampharos.
Oh,
'Cause
God, yeah.
it was just like I liked the idea of the whole electric sheep thing. And it was one of those
Electric
things.
sheep.
I thought it looked cool. I liked the color scheme, and I also liked the fact that it was a fucking boss, just in general. Because alright. Here's a kind of look into how I usually play Pokemon. It's usually I want high attack or special attack and high speed. I
Yeah.
want to kill you first and fast. So I don't want to be a tank as much. I want to do it quickly and I like to think efficiently, which is later on when I started learning that typing was a shit. Like that was a fucking thing. Before it was like mash whatever move. Like why isn't, like you were saying earlier, like why isn't this Onyx dying? I'm using Thunderbolt like the TV show told me to.
Right.
Fucking damn it! I'm using the heart of the cards. Why isn't this shit working?
Yeah, that shit never worked, especially on the Game Boy Advanced game.
The heart of the cards? God no.
Well, it was like Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel. I don't know. It was like you were in the streets and you could like duel people. I don't know. It was a really fun game.
Because you didn't have any of those water power cards from
No.
Pokemon on those monsters.
No. Fucking Eric and his stupid Yumi decks. They're bullshit. Stupid swimmer. I'm just kidding, Eric. I love
All right,
you.
so Gen 3.
Oh no, I didn't.
You didn't.
What the fuck?
You almost skipped me for saying that. It's Gen 2.
So Gen 2, honestly, I really like Ferret, and it's a little biased because I've had lots, and still have a lot of ferrets. But like, it's a normal type, and it's really not that strong. But he can learn all the punch moves, so like
That's fun stuff.
it spreads out. But at the same time, like if I'm just playing the game to play the game, he's not bad because like I can get fire, ice, thunder punch, all that on there, mega punch. But like I don't think I could ever use him in competitive. Actually, I remember on Pokemon Showdown, which is a free website that you can download if you like, and you just kind of jump into random battles, or you can make your own teams,
Yeah.
or you can go to specific tiers. I remember making like, if real life, these are the ones I want to have, like the dream team, and like obviously like I picked my favorites, and I just kind of got my balls rocked because none of them were like super.
Jesus.
Like, okay, let me think about it. I had Ninetales. I had Alolan Ninetales. I had Torterra, which is the final evolution of Turtwig, which, by the way, is my favorite starter, though I never played, I think that's 4th gen.
Yeah, it's
It is.
Diamond, Pearl, and
Yeah,
Platinum.
I've
never actually played it.
Never played that
I played it.
generation.
I have it. I legitimately have that game. I have Platinum. I bought it for like $15-$20. Like, surprisingly cheap. I just never played it. I played like 2 minutes of it.
It's a Pokemon, like I feel like there's a point in, whatever life that you go back and like run through your games, like knowing that there's that new console Pokemon coming out within a year or something like that. Like that's another franchise. Is that the right word? Franchise on my list that I want to run through. Like, I want to start off and be like, all right, let's play all the Pokemon games because I'd like to be refreshed and ready to go for this new console. Because by the time that comes out, I'm gonna have a Switch. I'm gonna be ready for that.
I know. I'm gonna have to buy a Switch at some point too, because my brother Greg and I were thinking about doing that for because there's going to be Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah,
Fucking
yeah.
After like a goddamn decade,
Which, by the
people thought. I'm not gonna lie. We were on the road to Syracuse, New York, for my cousin's wedding. The cousin who I was at their graduation party when Billy Mays died. We were now on the way to their wedding.
It's all coming back together.
Yep. I'm looping this around. Billy Mays is in everything. So we're on the way to their wedding, and we're like, before E3, people were like, yeah, don't get your hopes up. We always do, and it always, like, last year it was like Federation Force. It was like a soccer game. Like, imagine, like, Rocket League, except not even really Metroid. She's like, what the fuck? Come on. That's a little bit of, like, just kind of shit. But then, the fucking, prodigal son,